This is Dr. Lee Newman, and I'd like to welcome you to the Chiropractic Associate Mastery Program. This presentation is the introduction to the program, and I'd like to take a moment just to tell you what we'll be talking about over the next 30 or 40 minutes. So we're going to talk about the history of the Chiropractic Associate Mastery Program, how it came to be, my experience down this path, and the 8 essentials that I've identified. We'll talk about some success stories, and we'll talk about the #1 skill that you must develop, refine, and continually improve if you want to be able to have a successful associate program. I'd like to go way back to the beginning and dedicate this program to my father, Dr. Jerry Newman. Dr. Jerry Newman, he graduated from Logan College outside of St. Louis, Missouri in 1959 and opened practice in Braddock, Pennsylvania in 1960. My father went on to practice for almost 37 years at several different locations, all within a 5-mile drive of his original practice. And my father worked by himself for all of those years in practice and, rarely took a day off. In fact, we would eat dinner at 5 o'clock so that 3 nights a week he could go back to the office and see patients from 6 to 8. We had 1 week of vacation off a year. My father never missed a day of work. In fact, I can remember maybe, 3 or 4 times in my entire life where he was homesick in bed, and it was a big event in the family. So he spent the 30-plus years in practice chasing the numbers by himself, wearing what I call the golden handcuffs of practice success. So when we took the 1-week vacation a year, not only did he have the cost of the vacation, he had to shut the office and still have overhead. So you lose the momentum of being shut, you have the expense of the vacation, and you have the expense of the shut office. It's the triple whammy. It's what I call the handcuffs to success. So I dedicate this program to him because I believe that there's an alternative. Today, what I ask you to do while I go through this presentation is to make 100% commitment to listen. Write down your questions. You can email them. You can call me, 412-418-2387. We tend to multitask while we're going through these videos. I would ask you to stay focused. I believe that this presentation can start you down a path that can change your life. So ultimately, I'm asking to see if we might be a good coaching match, if my message resonates with you, if being held accountable by somebody that is doing and has done what you want to do makes sense, then perhaps it makes sense for us to talk. So as a brief introduction to myself, this is me. I'm Dr. Lee A. Newman, and, I was the son of a chiropractor born into a chiropractic family. Like most American kids my age, I played Little League. Once Little League didn't work out the way that I wanted, there was nothing else I wanted to do than to commit myself to become a chiropractor. So, I actually accelerated my education and was able to complete my pre-chiropractic requirements in 15 months after graduating high school, so that I was able to matriculate at what was Life College, is now Life University, in January of 1983 at the age of 19. I graduated from Life College in 1986. At the age of 23, I opened up my Southside practice. We're going to call it the Mothership, and we'll be talking about it a little bit more. I ran that Mothership for 25 years. I experienced a tremendous amount of practice growth as a management client. The truth of the story is I got to 50 visits a week pretty quickly within the first 90 days and got stuck there. At that point, I became a management client and really soared from that point all the way up to 500 visits a week and 400 visits a week stably for years at a time. In the mid-90s, I sought out a new coach, and he helped me to do the first satellite office. That led into multi-offices. As of this point, in June of 2011, I have now sold 10 practices. I currently run 2 practices and have paperwork signed to open the 13th practice on September 4th of 2011. I've spent the past 14 years coaching and consulting chiropractors all over the country. I find great joy in helping that chiropractor, particularly on this piece, which is find the missing link between, I've done all the work of getting through school, getting a license, getting into practice, getting my own practice, becoming successful in practice, And now what's the next level for me? Or do I do what your father did and spend 37 years chasing the numbers 51 weeks a year? So my future is in building offices, both with employee docs as well as perhaps you with client docs, so that I can put my thumbprint on a greater number of chiropractic patients through all of you. So that's a little background, that's a little history. Here's a picture of the mothership. It's probably not the best picture. We have a new awning now, but as I said, I opened this in 1986. I ran and saw patients physically for many, many years. The last several years I had associates running. In 2010, I was able to successfully sell it to a great young associate who is now maintaining that office in its glory and, still stably over 300 visits a week. We'll be doing 15,000 visits. It's average 15,000 visits a year for a quarter of a century. So we're really proud of this office. It's established in the community. If you're ever in Pittsburgh on the south side, come check us out. So let's start about the 8 essentials that I've identified for the Chiropractic Associate Mastery Program. Having a clear vision, working with the right docs, work agreements that protect you, train, delegate, don't abdicate, design it to sell it, and sell it for cash. So those are the 8 essentials. And, I'll talk about the other points as we go through. Essential number 1 is to have a clear picture of what you want through an associate. So invariably, I will talk to senior docs who either somebody has approached them or they get the idea of having an associate, and I will ask them, how does the relationship end where you're happy? So we're going to see coming up soon in the rules that your practice is the most important thing to protect. So you need to end up being happy. There are 4 different possible outcomes that could be successful in deciding what's in it for you, and which one of those, or 1 or 2, you want becomes really important, because if the associate doesn't want what you want, then you don't have the basis of a good relationship. So for me, the basis of a good relationship is if we can help an associate get to where they want to be, and in exchange, that helps us get to where we want to be. That's the foundation of a good relationship. So that we have this commitment personally ourselves to the process of bringing in an associate, and then our commitment to the associate itself. So really having a clear picture of what's possible. So, if you've never really seen, if you practice by yourself and you haven't really been able to see a 2-doc or 3-doc single office setup, I really encourage you to try to digest that. So I believe first with the associate next to you, and then with the 2 associates next to you, that the sum is much greater than the parts, so that in a 3-doc office, you can see essentially a limitless number of people, certainly 500 a week in a full fee-for-service office. Senior doc, senior associate, junior associate, the marketing can take place, and all the paperwork can get done, and handling the patients can get done as well. And for the vast majority of successful chiropractors, I would encourage you to look at creating that practice so that we can service more people, make more money, and create much greater balance in our lives by transferring some of our knowledge to our younger docs and maintain that indefinitely. So that the need to go on to multiple offices, you don't have to have. I believe that wanting and needing to have multiple offices is limited to a smaller percentage of chiros that definitely should have successful associates next to them, right? So multiple offices so first is associates, and then the next level is multiple offices. And what associates allow you is to create a lifestyle that you can now maintain for 30, 40, 50, 60 years in practice. So across the street from the mothership, Dr. Sidney Cohen was an optometrist practicing on the street for 63 years. And he finally passed away last year. And up until the last year of his life, he still went in and had a couple of hours a week where he saw patients. And he was one of my heroes. I would see him going to work every single day, unlocking the door and doing his thing. And, an inspiration to be able to see that. And we can do that if we can bring a greater balance to our lives, right? So there's a couple of other situations where bringing in an associate also makes sense. The best way to sell any practice is to grow your own buyer. So you plant the seed and you water it and it roots, and you plant and you transfer it into the soil and you nourish the soil and you water the soil, and you watch your little buyer grow into a full-blown buyer that shows up with cash to buy your practice. Similarly, so if you wanted to move or you wanted to relocate, or, and the last way is to retire. So there's a couple of ways to look at it at the end of a career. If you wanted to maintain some type of emeritus status to where you could go in 9 hours a week and be the old doc, the old doc chiro, practicing into your 70s and perhaps even 80s, right? We could sell the practice and retain our position. Or if you wanted to retire and be done, you definitely want to grow your own buyer. So in terms of a takeaway from this presentation, I would encourage you as a first assignment to get your vision, to have a little mission statement about what your associate picture looks like, to create your affirmations around, I have developed a strong associate that helps me service more people and make more money, to have your goals written down so that it becomes your plan, right? Essential number 2, work with the right docs. This is a picture of Dr. Shannon Teroff. She was the first doc to buy a practice from me. She started working with me in April of 1999. Work with the right docs. Here's an example of the right docs. Shannon graduated from chiropractic college on a Saturday and physically in her hand had her license to practice in Pennsylvania the following Wednesday. So that is an action that is demonstrative of a great focus and leadership and ability to get things done. So being able to work with the right docs that have similar goals, that want to practice in your geographic location, that want to practice the style that you want to practice. There are 4 prime drivers of personality type, which makes 16 different pairs of dominant and second strong, like leader, expressor, analytical, dependable, and any combination of those 4. Knowing the 2 types that 80% of all successful chiropractors are, how to find them, how to screen for them, so that our hiring processes becomes better. Where to find these candidates? At the schools, at the boards, in the journals, on the internet. A 5-part interview, again, to try to weed down and really end up working with the right doc. How to do background and reference checks so that there's no surprises on any end. Essential number 3, you don't need to reinvent the wheel. So there are multiple docs. Here's a picture of 3 of them. In the upper left is Dr. Noel Lloyd. He was my associate mentor. He taught me a great deal of information on how to run associates first next to me and then in multiple offices. I've worked with Mike Lenars in the middle, who's also a great coach, as is Dr. White on the bottom, and Dr. Wolf and Dr. Teroff, and all of us, between the 6 of us, we've done over 20 offices. Each of the offices, by the way, has been successful. Not all of the associates have made it, but they've all been successful. Tens of thousands of patients, dozens of successful associates, and we've made tons of mistakes. We've been through the learning curve. I've taught lots of docs this process. So I've made the mistakes. I've watched my associates make mistakes. And, my first damning omission is that we will continue to make mistakes. But we will also work through them, getting to the end to where there's a win for everybody, leading to some protection. So essential number 4 is to have work agreements that protect you, doctor. You're the one with the assets. You're the one with the deep pockets, right? The associate wants what we have, but isn't what we are. So we're going to define the relationship. We're going to define the pay that works for us, that rewards the associate just as soon as they produce. How to do with benefits. We're going to have a full conversation on non-compete clauses. And, it's really a state-by-state issue. You want yours to be as strong as possible in your state, but I know that I've had my work agreement go through Pennsylvania courts and be upheld to a 6-figure verdict. So we want to protect you. Essential number 5, train. So if you were to be a new executive just hired out of college and go to IBM, you would spend a full 40% of your workday in training. But, we really don't treat our employees that way, either CAs or DCs. So particularly with DCs, we need to have a training program right from actually before day 1 I will give new hires an assignment that I expect them to show up day one, complete, and know how to do, right? So Hamburger U, I was able to spend time on a cruise with a McDonald's franchisee. He owned 3 McDonald's, and just to be able to hear, there's actually a Hamburger U where the franchisees go to really learn the McDonald's system. So I believe that we certainly have much more to offer mankind than a Big Mac. So being able to spread our message to a greater number of people through our associates really needs to have a system in place right from day one, right from before day one, till they no longer work with us, centered around the chiropractic algebra. And if you've never heard me speak about chiropractic algebra, you could probably watch that video somewhere on this website as well. So the 3 areas that associates must master, which are the 3 areas that any chiropractor must master, are marketing, getting, treating new patients. 2, retention, getting those patients the care that they need. 3, collections, being paid for the work that we do. And that is the basis of the formula for chiropractic success. So we want to train around that. Essential number 6 for us is to delegate, not abdicate. Is to provide the motivation, is to have the proper meetings, the daily meetings, a daily powwow around your appointment book, standing at the front desk, focusing on who we're going to serve, the things that we need to get done today, critical. A weekly staff meeting to plan out a battle plan. Monthly one-to-ones with the associate to check in and to provide the right motivation and encouragement and correction when needed. Quarterly trainings for the entire staff, getting the team together both on chiropractic stuff, customer service stuff, and team building stuff. To get timely reports, what do you need to see daily, weekly, and monthly from all your employees? The stats and the socialness of having, we want to have a, the relationship I feel that I have with the associates that are best are sort of the big brother relationship. And I was never a big brother, I was a little brother. So being able to be the big brother provides that in an interesting aspect for me as well. Essential number 7 is design multiple offices to sell it. So the question becomes, why is that the case? And there's a very interesting answer of why a satellite office should be designed to sell. And that's very important to understand because here's the answer. The docs that can grow a satellite practice to a successful level, I'll ask you, a doc that can grow a practice to a successful level, and let's call it $25,000 a month of collections, what does that doc want? And it shouldn't have taken you that long to come up with the answers. They want to own it. So the docs that can do it want to own it. The docs that don't have confidence that they can do it want to be paid, guaranteed, for maybe being able to do it. So we want to have docs that actually have shown that they can do it, and when they do it, they want to own it. So when is it safe to open a satellite office? How can you open a satellite office with no out-of-pocket money? So essentially, you don't have to reach into your pocket for any money at all. And then how fast can we make that operationally profitable? So I will tell you that 3 times out of 12, I was able to get practices to 100 visits a week in the first 30 days, which means 9 times out of 12 I wasn't. But the 3 times were much better, so operational profits can occur even in the first month, and if not, certainly by 90 days. So what are the interim goals leading all the way up to this practice sell? So essential 8 is sell the satellites for cash. Again, why even sell? Because the docs that can do it want to own it. Or maybe we want to retire. Maybe we want to try to leverage out our equity from our practice. The doc wants to move. We want to reduce our risk. We want to find the money, and it's tax efficient to sell. And I will go into that into some detail later on. So the skill that we must master, which is a skill that is different than growing our own chiropractic practice, is getting production from others. So you probably wouldn't be listening to this video or watching this video and listening to this recording. It probably wouldn't feel right to you unless you've already built a successful chiropractic practice. And knowing how to do that, in my mind, is the first prerequisite for having associates. So I will have docs call me occasionally, and their best week in practice is 80 visits, and they're looking to bring in associates. And I don't think that my program is best suited for those guys. But if you have a practice that you're proud of, if you're happy about what you've created, right? I believe that it becomes our goal to hand it on and to pay it forward. So it's decide what's in it for you. So getting production from others is the #1 skill that we must learn. And we must now teach others how to get new patients, build retention, and collections. So that's not easy breezy. The books and the seminars and the communities that we need to hang out in now is in coaching and managing. But what's in it for you? What's in it for you is to be able to break the golden handcuffs of success, is to leverage probably your biggest skill set, running a successful chiropractic practice, and be able to leverage that through young docs that are eager to learn so that we can convert all of that risk into reward. So the tax benefits are is we can convert a lot of ordinary income into capital gains and perhaps create a golden parachute to either semi or to retire in practice or to outright retire out of practice. So that's the skill we must learn. My coaching program, right, so it's the Coach with Dr. Lee program. It's really one-to-one coaching with you, the clinic owner. My clients, you know, as I said, I take them on as a big brother role. I have a keen eye as to the numbers of your practice, the tone of your practice, and where you want to go. And it is my job to keep you on that yellow line geared towards your goals. So we will be coaching one-to-one. We will speak regularly, whatever that means to you. So most clients speak twice a month. Some prefer monthly. Some prefer once a week. But we'll have designated one-to-one coaching times. There is an associate DC training library, so all the course stuff is available in videos just like this. Day 1, Day 2, regular office visits, spinal screenings, statistics, meetings. So there's tons of videos to act as a DC training library. Twice a month, there is a CA call, and all those calls are recorded and they're accessible. If you become a coaching client, you get access to the back calls. So, you know, there are some core actions that I want the CAs to know. I personally lead the CA calls. The CA calls are typically some case studies, which the CAs always love, chiropractic research, and then a piece of office procedure, and they're really well received. There is a senior doc community. We get together, and, you know, I'd be happy to participate in a one-time-a-month staff meeting with your actual staff. There are both live and web-based boot camps. There is weekly client reporting back to me. Your practice will look different in 12 months. Here's the game I like to play. We work together. We shake it all around. At the end of 12 months, after all the money in and all the money out, your bottom line grows by $100,000. So this is my introduction presentation to the Chiropractic Associate Mastery Program. If you'd like to talk, there's kind of 2 options that you can handle. Option 1 is to become a coaching client. It's a $700 a month fee. There's lock-in pricing, meaning once you join, the price doesn't raise. There's a 10% prepayment with an annual prepayment, and I ask for a 1-year commitment. And it's a commitment not only of your money, but of your time, of your effort, and really of your way of life. If you want to get to the next level, if you want to break the golden handcuffs to success, if you want to add your thumbprint to more people through associates, it's going to need to change the way that you've been doing things, to add to it, to get to the next level. I can help you get there. Here's the damning admission. My program is not for everyone. You know, I believe that there's probably many ways to do associates, and I believe that there's lots of ways to do it wrong. Ongoingly, you're going to make many mistakes. However, I'm committed to this process. I am now 15 years down the road on this process. All right, I understand the in and outs. This is what I do on a regular basis. I've helped many others do it. If you commit, if we can improve our management skills, we can help more people have more fun and make more money. So as I said, the next step, you can become a $700 a month coaching client. If you just want all the camp materials, all of the detailed information of, you know, the background of associates, how to hire, how to train, how to interview, how to manage, how to motivate, how to work agreements, buy-sell agreements, business plans for the bank. You can buy all of that in my camp package. It's $2,400. That also entitles you to either a live or tele boot camp. And then the last level doesn't require any money at all. Just by signing up and making sure that I have your email, you can get my free stuff. And I send out a bunch of different stuff from quotes of the day to different links to different articles that I like. And it's really my mission to help the chiropractor. There's few of us out there. There's 7 billion beings and 40,000, maybe 50,000 practicing chiropractors. And I'm not sure how many of those are practicing under the big umbrella that I want to try to provide the profession as well. So for those of us out there that are doing it, I want to be a resource. I've had a full lifetime around this. If I can help you, I want you to know. So feel free to reach me. You can reach me at Dr. Lee at coachwithdrlee.com, or you can reach me by phone at 412-418-2387. Have a great day. Thanks for watching.